Mennonites in Belize form different religious bodies and come from different ethnic backgrounds. There are groups of Mennonites living in Belize who are quite traditional and conservative, while others have modernized to various degrees. There were 4,961 members as of 2014, but the total number including children and young unbaptized adults was around 12,000. Of these, some 10,000 were ethnic Mennonites, most of them Russian Mennonites, who speak Plautdietsch, a Low German dialect. In addition to this, there were another 2,000 mostly Creole and Mestizo Belizeans who had converted to Mennonitism. History of Belizean Mennonites. The ancestors of the vast majority of Belizean Mennonites settled in the Russian Empire in the 18th and 19th centuries, coming from the Vistula Delta in West Prussia. In the years after 1873, some 7,000 left the Russian Empire and settled in Manitoba, Canada. The more conservative ones left Canada between 1922 and 1925 and settled in Mexico. In the years after 1958, some 1,700 Mennonites from the Mexican settlements moved to what was then British Honduras. Mennonites from El Salvador moved to Belize during Civil War. The so-called Russian Mennonites speak Plautdietsch in everyday life among themselves. There are also some 100 Pennsylvania German-speaking Old Order Mennonites who came from the USA and Canada in the late 1960s and settle now in Upper Baton Creek and Daughter settlements. Customs and traditions. Mennonites are easily identified by the clothing, except from the ones who have modernized to a large degree or have never been traditional, because they have converted in recent times. The women wear bonnets and long dresses while the men wear denim overalls and hats. The men may wear traditional suspenders and dark trousers. The women wear brightly colored dresses. In many of the Mennonite communities there is a softening of the old tradition. In Upper Baton Creek and Daughter settlements, men and women dress similar to the Old Order Amish. Both Old Colony Mennonites and Noahuva Mennonites use horse-drawn buggies for transportation, but only the Noahuvas also till fields with horse-drawn implements. When it comes to burial, traditional Mennonites conduct the service mainly in German but some parts in English so that visitors can take part. They use Bibles like other Christians do. The caskets are made of plain lumber which is lined with white cloth inside and black cloth outside. There is no buying of expensive caskets when it comes to luxury. A portion of the shoulder remains open during the service. After the rites, the whole congregation files orderly to the front of the church to pay the last respect. In Spanish Lookout, members and friends of the deceased addresses the congregation after the obituary has been read. Tombs are not a part of burying. A cross is used for marking the name and spot. Before returning the body to the earth, a few hymns are sung. Members of the community take turns shoveling the earth until the burial is completed. After that, the community comes together and feasts on bread, sausages and coffee with the bereaved family. Weddings usually start with courtship and last for 6 months to a year. The boy's parents ask the girl's father for permission. After that, the parents get together and set wedding dates. The penultimate Saturday evening before the wedding is called Falafna. On this event, the friend of the bride and the groom shares the Bible reading. Weddings are performed on Sundays. It usually consists of 2 ministers, one to explain the meaning of matrimony and the other to do the blessings. Gifts given are usually tools and household items. Mennonites from the Noahuva group in Upper Baton Creek and Daughter settlements are extremely restrictive concerning the use of motors and electricity. That is, both motors and electricity are forbidden for the use in the settlement by the members of the group. The clothing is very similar to the Old Order Amish, and men wear beards like the Amish. Therefore, they are often perceived as Amish and called Amish, even though this is not the case. This has caused some confusion. The Mennonites have made it a point to have their own school, church, and financial institution in their community. Languages. The vast majority, more than 95%, of ethnic Mennonites in Belize speak Plautdietsch in everyday life. A small minority of very conservative Mennonites that came from North America mostly in the second half of the 1960s speak Pennsylvania German. Instead, both groups use Standard German for reading the Bible in school and in church. English and Belizean Spanish are used mainly by men for communication outside the communities. Belizean Spanish is also spoken by descendants of Mexican Mennonites and Salvadoran Mennonites. Almost all Mennonites from churches who do outreach in Belize, e.g. Beachy Amish Mennonites, speak mainly English. Mennonites from other ethnic backgrounds use their ethno-languages. Colonies. The total population of Mennonites, including unbaptized children, stood at 4,959 in 1987. The major colonies with the population in 1987 were Shipyard, Spanish Lookout and Little Belize. Richmond Hill existed only from 1960 to 1965. Presently in Belize there are different communities of Mennonites, namely Shipyard, Blue Creek, Little Belize, Spanish Lookout, Indian Creek, Upper and Lower Barton Creek, Springfield and Pine Hill. In 1999, the Mennonites had a birth rate of 42.53 per 1,000, which was well above the national average of 30.71 per 1,000. There are 4 newer colonies, Birdwalk and Roseville, which are daughter colonies from Upper Barton Creek, and Springfield and Green Hills, which is affiliated with the Mennonites of Pine Hill and New Land. Smaller outreaches of conservative Mennonites can be found in numerous communities throughout Belize. Mennonite groups and membership. As Mennonites accept only adults as members, the total population of the Mennonite congregations in Belize is underestimated by membership counts. The largest denomination was Alt Colonia Mennonite Gemeinde with 2,052 members. Other denominations were Kleine Gemeinde Spanish Lookout with 710 members and Kleine Gemeinde Blue Creek with 60 members. Iglesia Evangelica Mennonite de Belize with 400 members. Evangelical Mennonite Mission Conference with 388 members. Beachy Amish Mennonite Fellowship with 140 members. Caribbean Light and Truth with 137 members and Church of God in Christ, Mennonite with 42 members. Economic contributions to Belize. Mennonites in Belize contribute to the carpentry, engineering and agricultural industries of Belize. They produce milk, cheese, beans, corn, melons, honey, chicken, and eggs. They have turned sections of tropical jungle into highly productive farmland. They are also skilled in manufacturing household furniture as well as constructing houses. Controversy. While the Mennonites in Belize have been very prosperous in agriculture, Michael Trapasso wrote in a 1992 article published in GeoJournal that there have been complaints that they often do so with no regard for the environment or environmental laws. Trapasso read that the environmental impact of the farming methods leads to large-scale deforestation. In a paper of the FAO, the following is stated about Mennonites in Belize.